Hey everyone, it's Terry Crews and Son of Beast here, and Roy Cruz here. This is the final Battle of PA of Pennsylvania between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh. These are the ones that the last part of the game. Since last night, Edmonton Oilers secure its victory in Game 3, beating in overtime against the Anaheim Ducks on a power play goal by Evan Bouchard, assisted by McDavid. This was an amazing comeback feeling to see how this changes. But therefore, the one last game might show things off between Philly or Pitt here at Pittsburgh at the PPG Paints Arena. This matchup might be over, but there's only one more to secure its victory win, and the winner of this one will be facing against Carolina Hurricanes in Raleigh, North Carolina. So that part of the game will be underway here soon. Once the first round is concluded, we will be moving on to the second round. Now, prior to tonight's game in between Flyers and the Pittsburgh Penguins, Sidney Crosby is one of our biggest legendaries, and the other side of it, Owen Tippett, you may not know how that will change, or Trevor Zegras to change things option. That might be one take to have it all. Dan Vladar and Stuart Skinner are your starting goaltenders for tonight. This matchup is going to be the end for everything in the playoffs. Winner of this one will secure and make your way to the next one. Right now, the last commentary partners here, part in Pittsburgh, and we'll see how well they do if they move on to the next round. We've got Fan along with Steele and a third commentary to crew, Wood Spoony. And across with there, on the other side of it, it's our last part of a digit single numbers. No better to be between, and it's Sticker. This will be all the last thing that we hope for if anything goes right in. Now let's see who wins this part of the game in number 3 of the first round, as we will conclude the Metropolitan Divisions. Pitt, Philly, coming up next on EA Sports. See you folks later for the intermission and the post-game show and the overtime show if necessary. Now let's see who takes on. Battle of PA starts now. Battle of PA as we welcome you to the PPG Paints Arena for the final game of the playoffs. First round, that's Fan along with my broadcasting partners, along with Steele and, of course, the third commentary crew, with Spoony and Sticker, the center ice. Well, folks, this is totally it, and we are down to the last strength of the Battle of PA. Let's see who takes it all. Starting tonight's goaltender, we have as across as Dan Vladar, and the other side of it we have is Stuart Skinner on the other hand. Here's a start off for Trevor Zegras. Trevor Zegras is right into our corner. He will now find a pass to Sanheim. Sanheim looks over to Tippett, and Tippett with the stick lift, and it's stuffed over by Chitnikov. Fouls along for the puck and rebounded by Forster. Forster behind the net, and that one is covered up by Stuart Skinner. He'll get his first save of the game to have it covered in with passing a minute and a mark. Well, my third broadcasting partner crew, I give a warm welcome is, of course, Wood Spoony. Wood Spoony, it's so great to see you here, and welcome to the third game of the playoffs. Tell me about yourself, who do you think will win it all?
Well, thank you so much there, guys. I'm really sure that this is the one night to see that we're playing it on the great on the pursuit. The position is Mikey here for the better angle of it, and I'm pretty sure that everyone is seeing things because of the Pittsburgh Penguins. They really did so well, playing a lot of confidently and a better range of a goal. They really took it all over for the net of it, and this is really why I would love to see how the third game comes in. This is one take, and I'm really sure that Pittsburgh Penguins might win it, or Philadelphia. If they took it over, then the game might be over. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that everyone has been watching on this, and Pittsburgh Penguins are really one of the better teams because Flyers seem to be sometimes cheating a little bit. They definitely don't think that they don't like Philadelphia afterwards. Now that Pittsburgh Penguins is going to have to try to see what they can definitely do if they wanted to get off to a good start. Here's the ball going to show. Pat save made by Stuart Skinner. Great kick out for the start for the goaltender for the Pittsburgh Pens. You know, that's a great start happening to be with Stuart Skinner. Got a great pad stick out by a save, and you really got a good knockdown with the feeling of it. Philadelphia rebounds the puck around the boards, and here's York. York sends it over to pass again to Dvorak. Oh, the Dvorak goes down! Ricker Raquel! He made that big hit on the Trelancus attack. That's a numbers by striking here. You're going to have to get one, keep it out. That's definitely what's going to put you another pursuit. That definitely hits at somebody else. Makes the other battle along the boards, and it's rebounded up by Pittsburgh. Here's a Jenny Malkin. You'll now start over to Erik Karlsson with only 50-50 remaining in the first. Karlsson with the shot. That is off of Konechny and rebounded by Michkov. Philadelphia Flyers the other way, as this will be sent over to Katez. Katez sends a pass to Zieler. Zieler lost that one. Gets pushed over, and Zieler will have to try to regroup. Oh, that's almost going to be a penalty. I don't know what's going to happen, but this is definitely where it's going to pause, and nobody was watching on this. There should have been a penalty. The coaches were not happy afterwards. That startup need to be complaining a bit. Have that one taken over.
Pittsburgh the other way, as Kindle will have it up across. The send-off pass is broken by Michkov. Philadelphia on the other way. Pass is given away by Samuel Girard. And now Girard's on the attack. The pass over to Kindle, and he'll find over to Justin Brazeau. Here's Andre. The send over the other way, and now back on ice is Owen Tippett. Tippett flings it around the boards. And here's Zegras. He's got it. Outside the zone is Ristolainen. Zegras with the shot. Big save made here by Stuart Skinner. Rebound by Samuel Girard. He'll now find it over to Kindle.
Well, that's a great save, and there's a lot of great impacting ball from Stuart Skinner. You have to see that. Nobody has ever been playing it before. That is a great pad one to keep that one out. The better save of it is going to get it for real.
Here's Russ. Outside of the zone, he now finds Kindle. Kindle shoots one, and a save by Damladar. 12:48 to go in the first period. You'll have that one covered in to get ready for another puck drop.
You see what happened when you got a little bit of a block shot. You have a little miscues on a mismaking. Now, what happens with Damladar? That one is almost going to get gloved up. And then the other way happens, because this pass up is going to get over it, and then the pad. Great saves. Those couple guys got a good ones.
I'll turn my attention over, as this time it will be Sticker. I'll be joining us here for today. And it goes for Rickard Rakell.
Thanks, guys. Rickard Rakell is really one of the better savedists, and he's been playing it for some hugest hard takes of the core. We see so much of it as Rickard Rakell is a big finishing to the on his drive to have a 1T motion. The bigger one, the better offensive and a lot of drive is commenced. This is the big hard range feeling, and I'm sure enough that everybody's been watching this through, and they're definitely going to have it all down in range. We'll see how that happens with Rickard Rakell with the one-time shooting range, and it better be a great way to have it. I'm pretty sure that a lot of Pittsburgh Penguins might be seeing things for Rickard Rakell tonight. Let's see how he handles. Guys, back to you.
Thank you, Sticker. Now here's Ryan Shea. Put the put down here. Right toward the zone. Good save by Stuart Skinner. What a great motion on the reaction timing for the goaltender to cover up with the save.
You know, I've seen things about Stuart Skinner, and a great day for being here at the hockey is really like all in pace. You know, it's better than everybody's playing it on with their signals. No start off, no celebrations here. They definitely are trying to do everything. You know, I don't know how Stuart Skinner is definitely doing that, but that is a one heck of a save. You have to keep that out for good reasons.
Brian Hathaway backhander save by Stuart Skinner. Sidney Crosby with the rebound with 11 minutes remaining. Rush's save made by Damladar. And the puck carries over the other way for Philadelphia. Hathaway goes right over to Luke Lennon, and he could get that one knocked down. Couturier to Hathaway. Hathaway going to break up the defenders here. Looks over to Sanheim. He looks to Drysdale. Drysdale, the block shot, save made by Skinner. Rebound by Clifton. He looks over to Rust again. Past the midway mark in the first period, he looks to Sidney Crosby. Sidney Crosby back to Sanheim the other way as the Flyers will get it. Sanheim, bank around the pass to Dvorak. Dvorak Broken it up. Dvorak with the rebound. Now finds Jamie Drysdale the other way. Dvorak, he shoots one of those. Saved by Stuart Skinner. Carlson sends over to Witherspoon. He went right toward the hit. No penalty on Philadelphia.
Well, I don't know what's going on. I thought the first penalty is going to definitely be on the Flyers. They've got to watch for trouble.
Sanheim. Nowhere to go. It's back to Ristolainen. Ristolainen looks over to Konechny, and he now finds Sanheim. Sanheim shoots and saved by Stuart Skinner. 8:24 left to go in the first period. We'll have another puck drop ready. Alright, let's go over the other way. For the Philadelphia Flyers, here's Sticker. And therefore, calling for is Jamie Drysdale.
Jamie Drysdale is one of the perfect on the balances and has a one great range to have it keep. This is a great way. I'm watching things from the Philadelphia Flyers. This is the start off what they're looking for, and they really have been making it a lot of a hard use of a chain effort. You know, everybody's been watching this on Jamie Drysdale for once, and now I have to say this: what the big pass off doesn't really mean it. But the great thing is, we want to see how the Flyers get a response afterwards for Drysdale with the one-time effort. And that's for Trevor Zegras on the other way to show how it is. Let's see how this one turns it off to make the big pointer come to life. I'll be watching an eye here on Jamie Drysdale on ice. Back to you guys.
We passed the midway mark in the first period. Still no score. It's still Steps. The win by Lizette. Here's Chris Letang. Now give it up by Forster the other way. Forster, in move, stopped by Skinner, and rebounds it again. Owen typically outside of it, and I'll find again Zegras. Zegras looks to Zeeler. Zegras shoots, kicked out by Stuart Skinner. Samuel Girard again to Lizette, and now Pittsburgh will have a clear-out chance. Sends it deep around the net, and a rebound by Andre. Here's Andre. So I'll pass over to Tippett, and Tippett looks over again to Forster. Forster backs it up. Waits patiently, now finds it over to York. York looks over to Drysdale. Drysdale shoots one off the glove and rebounded by Shea. Puck all the way down. It will be an icing on Pittsburgh. 5:26 to go in the first period. We'll get another face-off ready. You know what's crazy about Jamie Drysdale? He has a lot of send-it pass, and he has a lot of big replementary motion to have it showing off. How do you feel about Jamie Drysdale afterwards, guys?
Well, sure enough for me, Jamie Drysdale is really like one of the best send-it pass, and I really sure don't hoop to make that one with a great way to send it off. Jamie Drysdale, he's perfect for the Flyers. This is a lot of big Drysdale competitions, and a lot of contractors, they really have a good start off of it. I want to say that Jamie Drysdale had a great send-it. I think Pittsburgh may not have a choice, but this is definitely what everybody really wants. They cannot let it hold on, and they probably won't get away with that.
Yeah, same with me. I mean, I know that Jamie Drysdale's like doing it all in their favor, and no better to be playing it on the attacker. This is whatever happens if you definitely are trying to work it off at the contest. This is a big shot of it that everybody's been keeping. Here's Michkov, enters the zone. Goes back to York. York, first to Ristolainen. Block the shot, and here's Brazeau the other way, and now Chiknikov will have it. He's on the rush. Oh, he passed off too soon. That could have been another great goal with a start-off chance for the Pittsburgh. Here comes the other way. And he lost that control the other way, too. Lennoning, outside, Hathaway. Hathaway shoots. That blocks up. Luke Lennoning with the rebound. Lennoning looks it up. Finds a pass to Sanheim. Sanheim looks to Lennoning and now finds Hathaway. Backhander, safety! He couldn't get it in there, but that one is a great kick out. You got to keep going when you need to do for. Sanheim, broken by Russ. Here's Chiknikov. Knocked in right toward the bench. Oh boy, the Pittsburgh Penguins are not liking it afterwards.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's been hating on this. Nobody was liking it afterwards.
With under 2 minutes remaining in the first period, here's Brazeau to pass to Shea. Shea shoots, saved by Deladar. And he looks over to Martone. Flyers back the other way for the Pittsburgh territory. Here comes Konechny. Outside the zone, try to get a little regrouping here. Andre shoots, he scores! That will be his first goal in the playoffs of the game, and they're now taking a 1-0 lead.
Well, that is his first goal of the game. Watch what the connection makes for Travis Konecny. You have that pass out. Watch what Emil Andre does. That's wicked. Did you see how that happens? Now, there's a little bit of a pass-off, and then you just wanted to give the first chance, an effort to have that beaten by the goaltender. That first goal is going to put it. Yeah, Andre's really like getting that one with the first goal of it. And then when you make that move, you just have the pulsing. That's definitely another bright zone to keep that one up. And now with the first goal, it's 1-0. So the win by Raquel on a face-off draw, and we're down to a minute and remaining in the first period. Here's Rick Raquel, they'll send out pass to Malkin. Malkin, a pass over, Andre stops that one. Get a little help for the defenders here, and now back to Andre. Here's Forster, 30 seconds remaining in the first period. Fine Seagrass. Seagrass looks to tip it. That can't get through, and it's rebounded by Pittsburgh. Here's Witherspoon. Witherspoon racing across, knocks down. Tippett goes right back to Forster, and Seagrass will clear that zone out of here. And now will take us to the end of the first period. So therefore, a 1-0 lead, and start off for Andre. That's his first goal in the game. 1-0 Philadelphia. First intermission starts now, and we'll be back with the second period. Hey everyone, welcome to the first intermission of the NHL Stanley Cup Playoffs on EA Sports. I'm Terry Crews, along with Son of Beast and Roy Crews. It's 1-0 Philadelphia. They have that good start, and it's Emil Andre, first goal in the playoffs, as he starts with 1. Here's how they did with the total statistics as I send over to Son of Beast. Well, you see that passing afterwards. There's a lot of big percentage afterwards for Philadelphia. They're doing really well. And over by Pittsburgh, this was a little bit of an uneasy start for their team. They're not really starting out to do the good jobs on their emotions. This big offense is not going to play it off start. If you do it that strongly, you don't have the right choice. You need to make sure you have the right time on attack. In other words, don't play so cruel. You have to make sure you're really up to a start off. And if you can't get there, find somebody else. This is a big passing of effectiveness for Pittsburgh that they're losing on their control. They can't start off that great if you don't know how to do it. And the big one happens to be the hit. And then what a big knuckle down. That goes right into Philadelphia bench. Yikes. And here's how they did with the action trackers there. Here's one thing that we know for. Rickard Rakell's trying to do all his better grace in the goal and trying to look for this first goal to have it all tied up. For Andre, that's his first goal in the game. And they've got up to a 1-0 lead. There's some big hits here, and there's a lot of shots in the range. Not pretty much for Pittsburgh, but they're starting to get things often. All right, Roy Cruz, let's show yourself about the Philadelphia Flyers. What do you see afterwards?
Well, I know it's a competition, no hard feeling with this. So you got to say Philadelphia Flyers is really starting out to make that big compact to have that one playing it off. I don't know if this is a good start off, but you have to make sure you're really onto the tracker. Nobody does it better when you're going to do a lot of great circumstances to have that one drawing in the bunch. You know, Philadelphia Flyers, they definitely are the dirtier team, and they played it before back in the playoffs of the postseason. That was 2018. They got to see this to show what is going to happen if anything changes.
Now, how about you for Philadelphia to Pittsburgh, Son of Beast? What do you see afterwards?
I mean, this is what happens with the goaltenders. They really just... They don't start off to make that one great. I mean, you got to, get right back into it. I mean, no better offense would do for things for Rickard Raquel or anybody at Stuart Skinner. He had a wonderful save, but I think this is their time to start finding some hints to make sure if there is a great way to have that one passing it off and get a score. Well, I think we need to see some play actions here if we're going to get it.
Now, what's your scoring prediction, and who do you think is going to win it?
Well, the scoring prediction after the second period, I'm going to say 2-1 Flyers, because it looks like Pittsburgh Penguins might have just had a little slim behind, and I don't know if that will be the chance.
And how about you on the other hand there, Roy? What do you say about that?
Oh, I'm going to say 2-1. Pittsburgh, it's going to be my team to show it off that time. I think this is the big battle of the matchup. You know what? You're right.
I'm watching on you. You're going right back in the bunker.
I don't think so, man. I think this is a great game to see it.
Well, you have it all. Therefore, we end the first intermission report. Let's go back down to PBG Paints Arena as Finn and the Crews join in to start for the second period.
See you folks later for the second intermission.
Oh yeah, it's on.
Welcome back, everybody. We're ready to get started for the second period in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. The Battle of PA continues as we're ready for the puck draw and back in action. Alright, folks, let's have your takes and see what's the first period recap be between Steele and Wood Spooney. How do you see it afterwards?
Philadelphia Flyers are starting to get that first goal in the game. We noticed it before that the last part of it happened to be with Owen Tippett. The great way that we're really seeing things is from Andre. He had that one wicked shot. That's right from the close range, and he had that one beating it over by the goaltender. That was from the other hand that Pittsburgh Penguins couldn't try to save the day. You know, I was really sure that this would have been a hard favor to do for Stuart Skinner, but nobody is standing really well. This is a perfect stance that they're really trying to watch on. No one does it better. I mean, I'm really watching this over again. Nobody is really trying to, keep it connected. They're really trying to, Damodar do all the thing. No one does it better. Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you there, Stale. I mean, the only thing I'm just watching things on is how those guys are definitely commencing. This is the battle range on the top, and, that's definitely what everyone is really hoping it for, because the Flyers and the Philadelphia team, and then the Pittsburgh Penguins, on the other hand, they're really such a tight metal. The matchup doesn't really mean to do anything. This is really what everyone stands out. I'm guessing we'll see what it goes in if it's a tie game for Pittsburgh. Here's Ristolainen to find over to Forster. Forster to pass over to Tippett. Tippett shakes one in the corner and goes off the Stuart Skinner and rebounded by Wotherspoon. The rebound by Philadelphia Flyers as Ristolainen will have it up and carried it off. A pushover. He's battled along the boards. Valdar is behind the net, and they'll give a send-off to Forster. Forster trying to watch us for speed. Trying to get that break off here from Forster. Flings it to Martin. Backhander makes a never save by Stuart Skinner. Ryan Rest the other way for Pittsburgh. Try to escape Barber, and a new line group change will be on Pittsburgh, and Ristolainen will send it again to Dvorak. Here's another regroup here for Philadelphia. That sends it up into the net. Goes back to Martone. Martone loses one, and Raquel with the rebound. He sends to Anthony Manfa. Manfa lost that one. Cam York will try to give it back over again. Big knockdown from the boards. Trying to hump him out. Cam York around the bank of the wall. And here's Konechny the other way for Philadelphia. He'll send things off to York. York. Nowhere to look. Go back to Dvorak. Dvorak fires. A save made by Skinner. Back to Ricker Raquel with 15:30 remaining. That's a nice save. You really have to see what Stuart Skinner was really getting into. That's big impact. Yeah, you got to have a lot of favor of this one. Stuart Skinner's got to really try to give it all that he can. No better do than one.
Puck leaves the zone, and this will rebound up by Evgeny Malkin. Mitchkov sets over to Dvorak. Philadelphia back on a scrambling offensive zone. Ricker Raquel on him. He'll send it back to Zieler, and he will have to try to reset it a group. Pulling for retreat. Back to Dvorak. Dvorak knocked him over toward the wall and will send it around the net and back over to Barkey. Barkey sets the time to Andre. Andre shoots with a save made by Stuart Skinner. Great stoppage, and that will hold things up with only 14:02 remaining. You got a battle along the range. Dan Badar holding a big one-piece save. And the other hand of it as Stuart Skinner. He's trying to get that one right in a hurry. Sean Couturier kicks the puck over. Here's Hathaway in trouble trying to look for the net. This one sets it over and then back over again to Ricker Raquel. Took a big hit here as Ricker Raquel lost that one.
That's big and strange. That's what Ricker Raquel is doing. There should have been a power play chance. There's no way that there's no help. You got no idea? That head coach is going to be leaving it out in no empty room.
Hathaway with the rebound. He now sends Andre. Zero shoots. Blocked up. Rebound by Anthony Manfa. And now it's the Pittsburgh Penguins will take a hustle. In zone. Knocked it over. Gambardella will now find it to Andre. He'll find Luke Lennon in a hustle. Sent off to Andre. Andre shoots one. That was saved by Stuart Skinner. Hold things from the battle. Along the board, Letang. He'll send it deep again to Anthony Mantha. Sanheim's back on ice. He'll now find Bristol Lanen. Bristol Lanen to Glendening. He looks to Sanheim. Sanheim watching him down. Closing it up a notch. Sanheim, he shoots one. Another save made by Stuart Skinner. Chris Letang goes right over again. And the pass up in the bank angle for Kendall. Kendall in. Feints. Throw shoot. Save by Dan Bedard. Only 11-12 remaining in the second period. You'll have things hold up.
You know, the big battle of it, I'm watching things on Trevor Zegras. He's got a little bit of a deep notion here, but I don't really see how Trevor Zegras was able to do it for anything. You know, big battle of it just happened to give all of their a chance. Trevor Zegras is really looking for his first goal, and probably not. Maybe that's the first assist that they're looking for in the playoffs. Trevor Zegras to tip-in shot! Another save by Stuart Skinner. He sends to Noel Carrier as we're nearing the midway mark. Here's Drysdale to send the pass over to Owen Tippett. He'll look over again to Drysdale. Philadelphia back on the offensive zone. Drysdale hustling his way in right around the net. Finds Trevor Zegras. Zegras. York back to Mitchkov. Mitchkov trying to watch things off, and you'll look again at Zegras. He's surrounded by defenders. Forster, he fires it. That deflection carried it out, and that one goes off of Mitchkov. Mitchkov lost that one, and it's now DeWar again to Lizette. Here's Lizette. Shoot save by David R. Cam York the other way for Philadelphia. Pass is broken by Clifton. Here's Pittsburgh. Now that time Chitnikov brushes short right to the offenders. Chitnikov in, pass off, he scores! Now that pass off is going to turn it over. Watch when you see things here from Evgeny Malkin to Bauer on the other hand. Listen, and then there's a swing off. You got to look over to Evgeny Malkin. Now watch his perfection, Larry. You see where it gets? That's right in the shooting percentage. This snags it out and it goes past by the goaltender. What a great connection to be. Yeah, you see what happens with that. I mean, that is a great pass off, a good connection here. Evgeny Malkin's going to tie it up from Chitnikov. That really got going good.
Chitnikov's first assist in the playoffs. They've got their team to tie things up 1-1 to score, and therefore they are now tied in Pittsburgh. Here's Crosby, blocked by Gattez. Here's Crosby, glove save by Bedard. He almost would have had a chance to take the lead, but therefore Chitnikov's got it back.
Oh my gosh, I mean, I know it.
That's really the hard feeling to do for when you do not really want to mess this up. You really had no patience to do that.
Gattez will send it out, and Mitchkov will have it over across the other way. Knocks it over. Barkley trying to look over to Mitchkov. Mitchkov blocked her shot, and a save made. Dvorak brings the goalpost, goes right off the goaltender. Then Russ will have it out. Justin Brazil to center Russ. Russ right behind the net, and it's Andre. You'll clean this out, and therefore Mitchkov will have it over again to Weatherspoon.
11 minutes, 4 seconds in the playoffs.
Here's Kindle. Not that one. Dvorak in rushing. In pursuit. Missed it on opportunity chance. Goes right back to Dvorak. Konechny behind the back, and we'll cover it up with only 6:45 remaining.
Check out the last wonderful save here. That Dvorak was able to map that goalpost off in the knock, and then when you have it back in there, you got a wonderful save of it. This is pretty much how it's conveniently how it's turning it out. You see how Dvorak was getting that? This shot of it is going backhander, and it rings off the post and then goes with another big save. Yeah, it's intentionally or not, that was the craziest look up the save. You have a lot of big momentum. You don't think that was going to happen, but therefore, that is a big knockoff here from Stuart Skinner. He almost had that one immaculate save. That's definitely going to change it over to the other. Get another rebound to have it all in action.
As Raquel wins a draw, here's another centered pass. This will send over the other side back to Raquel. Here's Thomas Novak. He lost that one as Christian Dvorak has it over to Sanheim. Sanheim. Oh man, he took that swinging down afterwards. Penguins were going to get it back. Malkin trying to go for two with no penalty on Philadelphia. This one took it away, and this one goes back to Sanheim.
Oh, what a good control afterward. I mean, now they're fighting for it. My gosh.
And this is going to be a tripping. That's going to be on Ricker McCall by Martel.
Yeah, that's bad news. I mean, you don't start oftenly. And watch what Martin did. He did something that's not very nice afterwards. That one makes him trip, and that's going to cause him with the penalty. This is going to definitely take their power play advantage for Pittsburgh Penguins.
So the Penguins will have a flying on the power play and will have a chance for a lead up 4-1.
Yeah, it seemed to me like the ending of this lead doesn't really need to get it on to a good start. But if you're going to play as Philadelphia, you're definitely going to be banged out. You're not going to totally run it out.
Big save made by Bedard. Ricker McCall waits to Rust. Rust pass. A shoot save by Bedard. Sean Couturier has it over to Aristolaine. He will have it cleared out. And will send it all the way down into the pit territory. Just about 5 minutes remaining in the mid-period. He shoots one another save by Bedard. And he'll have it across around the board and around the way back into the end zone. Here come the Penguins as Carlson finds Ricker Burkell. Burkell with the nicely move. Send pass outside to Malkin. Malkin to Russ. Shots blocked by Sean Couturier. Sean Couturier. Puck goes out and rebounded by Raquel. Here's Raquel, right toward the corner of the wall, sends up the Kindle, shoots, half kicked up by Bedard. And Glendening will clear that zone to have new line group change. Here's Letang. Letang sends to Kindle. 30 seconds left for the Pens power play. Shoots one, oh my goodness! Bedard! He could not believe it, he had that catch.
Oh, wow, what a save. I wouldn't see disbelieving, but that is really what he was going to definitely take. That's biting it up from the dust. I just got to say, what a save by Bedard. He had that catch. What an amazing save. That one is a really good takeout if you want to get there.
And York's got it now. Sends around the net. And Kates to clear his zone out. Here's Letang. 10 seconds left for the Pens power play.
Martin's ready to get back out there.
York flings it in, and that ends the power play for Pittsburgh Penguins. They're 0 for 1 in the second period.
Hey, there's no change up and you have to do for. If you're playing as Martin, you have no option. There's no better ability if you really wanted to take it. Anytime that you really are playing on an offensive, but that is a big, one heck of a save by Bedard. That is another great advantage. If that's big save, they really are taking it over.
Here's Anthony Mantha. He's over in the wing. Sanheim takes a second win, and they will send that one zone. Oh, we could have had a chance to Barkey. And Barkey's right toward in the corner. He sends to York. York. That one is lifted off, and it's Skinner. He'll cover things with only 2:20 remaining. This is a great chance for the Pittsburgh power play to have that goal, but they're still tied, and no chance is made. And a big win by Raquel. Here's Samuel Girardi will now find over to Jenny Malkin. Jenny Malkin's got along the boards. He has it to Girard. They send over to Raquel. Raquel, right towards zone. Off to Letang. Brookton snapped it up, and it's York with the rebound. He'll have that pass over to Jamie Drysdale. He took a smack. Rebound by Samuel Girard. Malkin on a rush. Behind the back. Oh, Zegras took it over. Novak's got it back. Final minute in the second period. You'll have it to Brazil. He shoots it, and it's another block again. Here's another chance. Rubbersmith shoots. Saved by Bedard. Taped on a rush. Here comes Tippett. Tippett in zone. Spins around. He shoots another save by Stuart Skinner. Pulls it away. Here's Tippett. Backhander save. Two-time stop by Skinner. Andres blocked by Brazil. And he will send that one out. And there will be no lead off here as he will end the second period here. What a matchup! Only with amazing save by Bedard and our players, there's still left to come. Third period is going to be next when we come back. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with you shortly. Hey everyone, it's Terry Crews. Welcome to the second intermission of the NHL on EA Sports. Therefore, it was still no leadoff to give here. As Pittsburgh Penguins, they've tied this game with 1-1 of the Battle of PA. Therefore, Flyers are really trying to take over things for the worse. But as for Pittsburgh Penguins, they're trying to look their advantage and then make their way to the next round to face against Carolina. Now let's have a statistics look. How do you see afterwards here, Centerpiece? Well, that would have to be a lot of change afterwards. You've seen things because the Pittsburgh Penguins, they really are trying to make that one fight off. No better way than hurry, but if you're doing it for real, you just gotta have to choose a lot of responses. There's no way that you can definitely knock things over, and if you really wanted to have your own, you can't let it have it. They're all just pursuing, and they're just trying to rush to the gapping look. They're trying to make their way up. This is no chance what you have for Philadelphia. And Pittsburgh, they tied this game up. So that's another way that they really have done that for. 87/78 is a little bit of passing up and a decrease and increase. So it's a little sudden down here. And a big smackdown. Man, Pittsburgh Penguins are over by Philadelphia. That's a big rumble takedown. And here's the action trackers here as we see this penalty and a goal that happened to be a Jenny Malkin, who had one goal in the game and trying to look for it off to its next predecessor to have the lead off. Let's see what your attraction numbers are for the Philadelphia Flyers and now for Pittsburgh Penguins, Roy. How do you see afterwards?
Well, they've got a good handling. They got a good neck of the shot. They really are doing everything. This is a big concentration for the Pittsburgh Penguins. They're really trying to do is they get a lot of big open man slots, and this offensive zone is the big drive. I mean, they're really trying to do often. The more quicker, the better. Looks like that the Pittsburgh Penguins might be the favorite to win, and they move on.
How about you, Centerpiece, about the Flyers?
Well, they're starting to get out of the way. I mean, I'm not really sure what's going on with them. But if you're playing like that, I mean, you really are losing your moment. You just don't have the right choice. You've got to get back into this. Otherwise, the Philadelphia Flyers are going to definitely be left with zeros numbers on the board. I mean, there's no way that you can definitely change it off. You've got to have your feedback. This is why I need head coaches to change it often with. All right, let's see what the scoring prediction is going to be. Starting off with Roy, who do you see your take? My take is going to be 3-1 Pittsburgh, and they're going to the next round to face against Carolina.
How about you, Centerpiece?
I don't think it's not going to happen. It's 3-1 Philadelphia. They're going to be moving on and go to Carolina.
Okay, well, this is it. The final period as we will comes down to this. So they're both tied, but the next one might lead off to its own.
All right, I'm ready. I'm dying hard ready. Let's get to this. Okay, the big battle is on.
See you folks later after the game and with the big change-off of the Battle of PA. Let's see what goes on. The Battle of PA comes down to this in the third period. It is one of the roughest games here in the season. And therefore, in the postseason, it all comes down to this. Between Flyers or Pittsburgh. Let's see who takes the third period. What do we need to know about the second period recap here, guys, since now they're already tied it?
Well, this is very close. I mean, I must warn you this one here, fan. I really have to say that Dan Vladar had one huge save. And the other hand of it is Stuart Skinner. He made it miraculous to have that crease save. This is pretty intense. Without playing the Edmonton Oilers, he's really doing it all. No better chance would ever do things if this was going to be cooperative to keep that one from rolling out. I was really sure Stuart Skinner made that hugest save, and he put it all with the handle.
Yeah, same thing happened to me. I really have to say Stuart Skinner is one of the best goaltenders here in the Pittsburgh area. You know, it nothing gets better or not. And when I mentioned it before for Stuart Skinner, he really had to change it all. What anybody does, it doesn't really get anything that's much worse than he can definitely try to make the win. Oh boy, there will be a penalty, and that's going to be on Pittsburgh.
Look, this is not the start off when you really need to do for. That personally mistakes, that just flunks out.
Here's Tippett as this one will bring the extra attacker on before the delayed penalty of the game. Ristolainen now finds Sanheim. Sanheim looks to Ristolainen. Ristolainen back to Sanheim. He looks to Zegras. Right over to Tippett. Tippett shoots and stopped by Skinner. This will be Chitnikov. He's going to go to the penalty box.
59, 2 with him on a penalty for cross-checking. This is a bad news mistake. Chitnikov did something that's very bad, and he made that cross-checking worse. That makes him knocked down, and he cannot play it that way. You do not want to have cross-checking, and therefore, this penalty team is going to definitely have some little bit of increasement.
Pittsburgh penalty. That will lose scores and enhance, and they'll start their Flyers power play.
But the Flyers don't even have to start off this. If they wanted to get it off, they got to find a way to get through this.
Michkov's shot shoots wide. This one goes back to Carlson, and it's a carry. Back to the Flyers. Michkov. He's got all of them on the boards. Ristolainen gets a save, and back to Owen Tippett. Outside is Michkov. Michkov now finds Tippett. He looks for Ristolainen. Tippett shoots. Deflected for Dirac is off and wide. As Witherspoon will clear that zone. The Flyers have their own advantage as Tippett passes again to Dvorak. Dvorak watching closely against Konechny. Konechny to Tippett! Save by Skinner. 17:14 remaining in the third period. They're ready to take another puck drop. You know, I have one of the feelings for Stuart Skinner. He's really doing it all that he can. Nothing saves the deal if he can definitely try to show things off.
Yeah, I mean, I know everything about Stuart Skinner. He's really doing so well. Best play of the effort, doesn't really stand a chance. But whenever you do for it, you just got to make sure you have it right on.
Oh, and Tippett to Zegras. Zegras with the wrister! Another save by Stuart Skinner. Tries to look to Owen Tippett. Tippett to Zegras. Zegras daggers! Loses his puck range and control, and he's got it back. Zegras will now have it to Tippett. Dvorak shoots it wide. Another save by Stuart Skinner. Looks to Zegras. Stick Lipton. And he got it out of here that time. This time it's Shea. He looks to Kindle. Kindle up and away, and that will have to clear it out. Last push for Tippett, and this will get to Konechny.
Chitnikov's time, so it's about to be up.
Dvorak, middle zone, another save by Stuart Skinner. Tippett in, right in front, stop by Skinner, and the puck clears the zone as the power play is over for the Flyers. Wow, what a miraculous save of that one for Stuart Skinner.
Hey, you have to mention that. Stuart Skinner was really doing so well. This is better in the power play range.
Forrester is battle on the boards. And Dvorak goes down. Oh no, this isn't going to be good at all. Connor Clifton in a penalty box.
Well, that was a great way to have that one keeping it out. And great save here. But watch what this. That's roughing. You see that happens with Connor Clifton? You don't get a good start after it for Clifton. You're not going to get better at it. You knocked it, and that's going to cause him a boarding penalty. That is going to sting them.
Flyers with another chance in the power play. As for one player for Chitnikov is out, but Connor Clifton is in the penalty box. This will be another chance for the Flyers. Here's Michkov. Sets the wrist away and he looks to Forster. Backhander save by Stuart Skinner. Eric Carlson, he now sets to Witherspoon. Witherspoon with the spin around. Now finds it over to Carlson. Sidney Crosby shoots one. Back kicked out by Demidar. And Gattez will send things out of gear as Martone will have to reset. Now Forster enters the zone. Forster to get back to Ristolainen. He looks over to Michkov. Michkov, he loses one. Anthony Mantha fires that one around the net. And as Michkov will send it over the other way for Flyers. Here's Gattez. A send-out pass to Ristolainen. He looks to Martone. Martone, he is bumbled up already. Tries to go right to Carlson, and now here's Anthony Mantha. Mantha will skate around the zone. Zegras is behind. He's stuck up on Crosby. Martone now finds the Tippett. Tippett, he's all alone this time. Back in, he scores, but I think they're going to not count it. They're not going to count it because he's in a crease it.
Yeah, I think it's an easy call happening here. Watch what Tippett makes. He is way over the goaltender, and now he's going to cause it with that. He could have had this one with the goal, but watch what this happens. He's bumped in, and then that's not going to count because he definitely went over the crease, and that's Stuart Skinner. He noticed that was going to be a roughing on the shite.
Well, the fans really hoped they're surprised, and they already did. Without the power play, no goal for the Flyers.
Yeah, it's easy on this one on the call, and you know what happens to Stuart Skinner. He knows he's got his hands up. He has to challenge that one right immediately. Whatever we do for, it's not going to be a big day afterwards.
Tippett, right still save made by Skinner. And only 20 seconds for the Flyers power play. This has been a big draw on this disastrous moment here. Therefore, they're keeping it up.
I know they are. Nothing happens to be playing it for real. That's definitely what makes it feel like they really are struggled, and showing them off was just unpaidful.
Second chance for the Flyers. Power play is over. They are 0-2 for their team.
Not today. Stuart Skinner is a big save of the day.
Here's Malkin. That's back to Mitchkov again. Malkin again. Back to over to the other way to Letang. Letang in trouble. That shoots wide. And back to Martoni the other way. Here's Ristolainen. Ristolainen to find Mitchkov. Mitchkov can't hold on. Mitchkov in trouble. Now back to Cortez with the new line group change. Here's Jamie Drysdale. He'll slow this down. Sends it over around the board. And a rebound by Cortez. Here's Chris Letang. He'll get it back to Sidney Crosby. And over again. Now finding to Clifton. Poked it out. Now back to Letang. Here's Malkin. A chance over in their wing. Spins in circles. Here's Ross shot. Pass saved by Damodar. And here's gone at half away. He sends across to Couturier. Couturier with the rebound. And back to York. York swings and save by Skinner. Stop the play with only 10:48 to go in the third period. And they're ready for another puck draw. Well, stick around for over a couple of games. We got amazing matchups here. First, the Western Conference. As we're bringing things on for the next group of the entire chain. The Wilds facing against the Avalanche at Mile High. And therefore, the upper hand of it will, as the winning teams, will face against Carolina Hurricanes as the game starts at 8:30 p.m. That'll be the next part of the game to keep your eyes on. He scores! Chemicals! He delivers it! It's the lead!
Now that's another bad turnover.
Now watch what happens with that. He's going to get it over, and watch where this goes. There's no way that you can have it back, but then that one is a turnover. He really had that one fumbling it out, and that goes right in toward the net. You cannot get away with this. And that one turns it over.
Yeah, Chitnikov is really right in the middle. That's a great defense. And now what happens to Damodar? He messed that one up entirely.
They've now got their lead. It's 2-1 Pittsburgh. Carlson now finds Chitnikov. Andre stops one and back over to Zegras. Here's Zegras. Over to Forster. Looks to Zeeler. Zeeler pass to Zegras. Again to Forster. Shoots. Glove save by Skinner. Waterspoon now finds Carlson. We pass the midway mark in the third period. Knocked him right toward the wall. The rebound by Andre. Here's another one to Zegras, and he now has it over to Tippett. Tippett. Off to Zegras. He shoots and saved by Skinner. Just under 9 minutes in the third period. They'll have that one ready to get going.
It's easy enough that Igor Chitnikov has done all of his best. Nowhere that you can definitely change it up or anything with the good shot on net. Back deflection happens. But only one thing must change is Chitnikov having that first goal in the range. It just bound to be successful.
As we have another big look here at the coming up games, we've got the Wilds and the Avalanche. That will be happening here in Mile High. That will be the first part of the game. And then the next game, we've got the winning team facing against the Carolina Hurricanes. That game will start at 8 p.m. instead. Because at that point, it will be definitely a big change to see what it goes with. And following along with the next game, we've got the Lightning facing against the Buffalo Sabres in Buffalo, New York. And for the other game, it will be Golden Knights facing against the Edmonton Oilers. Don't miss out for your next games only on 7 and the future home of the SOS game. You can watch anytime here, and thanks to 1,000 subscribers, we couldn't appreciate it more. After a miraculous save by Stuart Skinner, here's Kendall. He now finds it over to Wotherspoon. This gets back to Carlson, and here's Anthony Mantha. Wow, what a proud supporter. You really have to say about this, of how Stuart Skinner is doing for him, and he did not think that was going to happen. Backhander stopped by Skinner. He looks it over. We're still right in the same line. Shots blocked. And rebound by Carrier. We're under 7 minutes in the third period. Konechny. Right around the back. And rebound by Sanheim. He looks at Dvorak. Dvorak sends to Ristolainen. Ristolainen. He kicks it over. Now finds it over to Sanheim. Here's Berkey's shot. What a block. And rebounded by Noel. Courier from Chitnikov. That's reckless on a blocking motion. Chitnikov got a great look out of it. Here's DeVore. Blocked up by Michkov. Ristolainen. Poked it. And rebound by Noel Courier. Kitez has got it. He stops that one. Goes right back to Barkey. Barkey. Ristolainen. He shoots. Pass saved by Skinner. Oh boy, everybody's been loving on Stuart Skinner that most, and what a huge save.
You know, nobody does stand out the crowd. Stuart Skinner really had a wonderful save. You have to be believing on that to do for anything. There's no chance that you could definitely just make that goal count, but as Stuart Skinner, he's a king to do anything.
There's a lot of pretty much good opportunity here for the Flyers, but therefore, as Pittsburgh, they take a 2-1 lead over Philadelphia. Girard now finds to Novak as we approach the final 5 minutes presented by Discover. Knocked him out, and rebound by Malkin. Here's Malkin to Raquel. Raquel in! That gets back to DM York. Oh, he misfired it! And therefore, that brings us to an icing for Philadelphia. They're trying to look for a battle motion. No stop can do. Pittsburgh has never made it to the second round before. But as for the first round, they definitely did so well. But as for anything, they definitely wanted to do plenty of action trying to keep that out.
I know they do. Now they wanted to get serious, and they got to find out if they can get it through.
Stuart Skinner the other way as he makes another miraculous save with only 4:06 remaining in the third period.
And you look at Tommy Novak, and you just had that relentless. You got to knock down from here, and then nobody's getting a rebound, and then Thomas, he's getting a lot of fightness.
Pretty much big concerns afterwards here from Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, and they're still got a cruise control. 2-1 over Philadelphia. Here's Letang. He now finds Chitnikov. Chitnikov. Andre's got it. Chitnikov's got it. Glove save by Godard. Zeeler, right to Kitez, and he now looks to Barkey. Here's Michkov. Michkov is stopped by Skinner. Michkov with chance up to have a tie in action, and nobody to be doing had really knocked him off. Plenty of action here. Pittsburgh trying to do all they can, but with the Flyers, they really are starting to have answers in. Now to win for Sidney Crosby with only 3 minutes left in the third period. Here comes Chitnikov. In zone. Shoots blocked by Zeeler. What a nice defensive effort. And then now it's Forster. He looks to Trevor Zegras. Zegras with the fancy footwork drill. Finds Zeeler. Zeeler moving in. Shoots stopped by Skinner. Rust. It goes right back to Sidney Crosby. And here's Owen Tippett. Tippett. In front, out of reach. 2:12 remaining in the third period, and they really are seeking him out. No chance does it for. Philadelphia is struggling And they may have an option to just give up or just fight back. We're still waiting. He looks to Sanheim. Sanheim to Martin. Backhander. Pad save. Martin with the rebound under 2 minutes remaining. We're still waiting. Shoot. Pad kicked out. Stop by Skinner. Missed that one wide. Martin. Saved by Skinner. Fans have been applauding this one so long. Wow. Skinner, he's master at it.
You telling me that he's a master out of it? You gotta see that one to make the eyes. That is completely a blind side. What a stop!
Ricker Raquel wins the draw, and we're nearing to a final minute. But before I turn things over to make the end, let's go to Sticker.
Alright, well I have to say that Stuart Skinner is doing a miraculous job. That's a better increasement that he's really doing for. Now everybody in this fans are going to have to put things off to a Stoke, and without anybody, I think that's going to have to end things up to see what gets in.
Wow, the Flyers have not made this one so far. As Martin, he knocked out Raquel, and that will have to end things up. And a chance for a shorthanded play for the Flyers.
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen.
Pittsburgh Penguins are on the power.
They're going to definitely lose it all, and Pittsburgh is going to move on.
So this is their last chance for the push. This could be the end for Philadelphia. No win by Couture. Here comes Sanheim. The rush. Couture. Under a minute left. He's rushing. Toward his own. Save by Skinner.
That's Porter Marteau for a 2-minute cross checking on Philadelphia Flyers.
But it wasn't pretty
Time of
easy
penalty,
afterward.
1907
Now
remaining in the
fans
third
are
period
rising.
of the playoffs.
And the win will be Glendening. Sanheim. York. They get knocked down on the piece. This one goes over it. And here comes Crosby. Rust. Shoots. Blocker saved by Davidar. Crosby again. Save made. Rust. In front. It gets broken up. And here comes Glendening. With the rush. He's in. Move around. Save by Skinner. And no goal. Unbelievable. Fans did not really appreciate that, but that's Flyers was already stoked out. Yeah, this is the problem with that. And then you see that Stuart Skinner, he gets bumped up, and then that's another goaltender interference. They're not going to count that one afterwards. Man, you see how the head crunches happen? This is definitely upsetting.
Yeah, I know it's upsetting, and now this is definitely what the Flyers have been doing it for. Now this is not the day to do it.
Just last chance for Philadelphia, and as for the end of it, they win it. Carlson is going to do it, and now that time, this won't be today. No Flyers ever done it before. And with the last pitch, it's over. For the first time, Pittsburgh's moving on to the next round. What a night.
Ladies and gentlemen,
They get a beat out by
that's just that.
Well, everything happens now. Stuart Skinner was able to do it all. His fan favorite. You have to understand, Pitt is better than Philadelphia.
That's the end of our
I'm not
night.
listening to the Pirates. What a great job here. And we couldn't have done without you all. Thanks, Rights. Thanks, Solo.
And Philadelphia
Well,
Flyers
what a
won
miraculous
in
finish.
83 of the
Pittsburgh
playoffs.
Penguins,
Fans,
first
thank you
time
so much
ever,
for
heading
joining
to
us
the
here
second
for tonight's
round
game
to
of
face
the
against
Philadelphia Flyers
Carolina.
and the Pittsburgh
Oh, my
Penguins.
broadcasting
See you
partners
all
along
in the
with
second
entire
round.
crew.
And join us for the watch party as it takes on against Carolina Hurricanes for the first game starting at 8:30 p.m.
of the playoffs.
and the
Thanks for
pregame
joining
starting
us,
at
and
8
good
p.m.
night.
here in
So long.
Pittsburgh. Please proceed caution by exiting the UBG
All
exit
right,
arena.
thank you, fam.
And we
What
ask
a
you
night in the
folks,
game.
please
Time for 3
arrive home
stars.
safely.
Yamanar with
Thank
only
you,
3
and
games
have a
saves
great
in a
day.
row. He has made that one finishly to have that one tight and bound to have the glove snatch. Then for the second star, Igor Chiknikov had turned things over. The bad mistake had lead off to a pressure. And then what happened this? He took it over, says, okay, I've got it all. And thank you very much. And tonight's first star is Stuart Skinner with 51 saves, and he made that one all with the finishing. Here's how he did with the total statistics. It's for 52 over 30 for Philadelphia. They just could not get a tying game.
They've been cut short by the goaltenders, and now the head coaches was furious, and he'd been knocked down, and it was not the choice. This is because of how they're knocking by the goaltenders. That's definitely and not a safe zone. You cannot play it and you can't smack on the goaltender to have that one breaking in action. In 45 over 24, that's Pittsburgh, man. 14-34 over 3-37 for Philadelphia. 88 over 80 percentage for Pittsburgh over Philadelphia. 22 over 16 face-off wins for Pitt over Philadelphia. Both teams have 4-minute penalty kills and no power play goals were made between 4 minutes and 2:53. Well, that is it. Roy, you've been only the one favorite of it, and I know that this was not the close call. You win.
Yeah, see, I told you that. Pittsburgh is better than Philadelphia. You cannot make that mistake. How about that game? This has been a big turnover afterwards. Let's see things here.
Well, I gotta say, fellas, it's the end of the first round, and therefore we're moving on to the second round. So their next games are approached as we have the Wilds taking on the Avalanche here in Mile High. Then the next game, the Penguins are facing against the Hurricanes here in Raleigh, North Carolina. Then the next couple of games, we've got the Lightning facing against the Sabres, and finally, the Golden Knights against the Oilers at T-Mobile Arena. Well, that's along with that, along with my broadcasting partners and the entire crew, I'm Terry Crews, and along with Roy and Son of Beast, you've been watching the Stanley Cup playoffs of the first round on EA Sports. So long, everyone.
Good night for now.
If you don't, somebody will.